crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com. With your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. Well, it seems like everything's about to fall apart. Luckily, if you've done the right thing, done your homework, you understood that assets in your own possession only is what's going to survive this. The exchanges are completely rigged, but at the same time, there's good reasons why a lot of these investments are going down. In cryptos, it's not just the riggers that are doing it. Let's just say crypto investors aren't the most savvy people sometimes. They got themselves into a position in the last run-up, the mini run-up, to get into crazy investments. DeFi was always had the potential of reversing. And that's what we're seeing right now, the reversal of the DeFi stuff. A lot of these DeFi structures are breaking apart because people had to rely on third parties. If you had your assets in your own possession, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Just sit on the sidelines. But it does affect price because as you always unwind things, like the latest is Celsius. Now, a lot of my friends got into Celsius. Bix, you're missing out on big returns. I'm like, you're going to lose your crypto. You are going to lose your crypto. If somebody can take it away or a third party can get attacked, you're going to lose your crypto. If it's not in your own possession, how many times do we have to say this? If it's not in your own possession, you don't own it. You don't have access to it. You have nothing. We are coming into a time where the regulators want more regulation. They want more power over your life. No, I don't agree with it. I think we should have no regulation, and everybody should lose everything if they made a bad choice. We shouldn't have a nanny anymore. The time for nannies is gone. You should be smart enough to deal with your own assets. If you're going to get into crypto, you better know what you're buying, and you better know all the various ramifications of what you're doing. So, the great Celsius implosion, what went wrong and how much more will Bitcoin drop? So Celsius was a DeFi place to stake your coins and you get these big returns. But the problem is the returns are based on other people getting involved in the community. It was a Ponzi, a structured Ponzi. And now they have all these assets. They're not allowing withdrawals and they're going to liquidate them all. So there's a lot of cryptos to be liquidated during this thing. It's great if you're a buyer. If you're a buyer, load up on cryptos. But load up on the right ones. My number one pick is Theta by far, hands down. They won't have trouble with the regulators because they never did an ICO. They're doing everything by the book. All the NFT stuff is done with the know your customer requirements that the SEC requires. It'll be an easy integration once the U.S. government implements their rules. And those rules will rule probably in a lot of other countries as well. So just keep that in mind. Of course, with the implosion of a Celsius and people losing their money, that gives the U.S. government more power to say, hi, I told you regulations were needed. Too many people are losing money. Now, we don't know how much the government was involved in the implosion of Celsius. I would imagine a great deal. And they could do that. They do it all the time. They did it at Bitcoin or at Mt. Gox, the Bitcoin on Mt. Gox. They're doing it at Celsius. They'll probably do it at all DeFi. They don't want DeFi, so they're gonna get involved secretly and then pull their money out as fast as possible and destroy it all. That's the idea. And then they can always make a statement saying, Celsius is a security or something to that effect, and boom, it implodes. So keep that in mind. There's more pain to go. And, obviously at the end of the day, it's whoever clicks the mouse. Yes, they can make Bitcoin go to minus $40 like they made oil go to minus $40. Will it last? I don't think so. I mean, you couldn't buy oil at minus $40 when oil went to minus $40. All the exchanges are frauds. Speaking of exchanges, we have, where is it? Yeah, Coinbase is firing 18% of employees. Coinbase is just probably the best out of all of them, but not good. They don't have 100% of the coins that their customers do. No, none of the exchanges do. And as things get tighter around Coinbase, they try to play the game. I mean, Coinbase shouldn't be firing anybody unless they're playing the game with cryptos. If they're just an exchange, all they care about is the volumes. If volumes should be picking up, they should be doing well. But they're not just an exchange. They have people pulling their cryptos out, which scares them because they don't have all the cryptos that their customers have. And that goes with every exchange. That goes with the stock market, the bond market, and all that as well, basically. So hold on to your hats. If you have your assets in your own possession, you'll do just fine after the crash, after they implement the new rules, as per Gary Gensler. But it might go on for a while. I don't know. When the banks go, all bets are off. We'll have no pricing for cryptos. We'll have no pricing for gold and silver. We'll have no pricing for the stock market. That's how big this is. I'm talking to David X22 today. Looking forward to that. Great guy. We're going to have a deep conversation about the criminality. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go to roadtoruda.com. I have posted my latest, one of the private road sessions I had with Jenny Moonstone. The one in which we figured out who that third party was in the JP Morgan Bank of America lease, where I think it was required by the government, but Bank of America had to lease out 1 billion ounces of silver to Bank of America. And then Bank of America did a deal with a third party. I've been talking about this for a while. We figured out who it was. It's Warren Buffett, by the way. Yes, Warren Buffett's buying 1 billion ounces of silver. It hasn't all been delivered yet. You can check the derivative numbers. It will be delivered throughout the year. A lot of it has been delivered. I don't know how far it will go. I don't know how soon it will hit the mainstream news, too. If you remember in the 1990s, when Warren Buffett was buying silver, nobody knew who it was. Until one day they found out and he had to declare. I figured Buffett, at some point, will have to declare. At first I thought about not exposing him, but the reality is we need more opaqueness in these markets. Even the battles between the good guys and the bad guys. At times it seems like the good guys, the longer they drag this on, let me say it this way, the longer they drag this on, the more likely you're going to get bad guys in and giving the excuse, we need to kick the can down the road. This has been going on for over 100 years. The kick the can down the road thing has gone on for over 100 years. And we're at a point in time where computers and derivatives determine every price of everything. From the food you eat, to the properties you buy, to the investments you make, it's all rigged. The SEC actually has a new regulation that will take out Virtu Financial, which would be nice. That's the key market rigger on the COMEX. Virtu Financial works with the bullion banks to rig the price with computers and derivatives. That is why we see volumes like this in silver. Look at yesterday's volume. 565 million ounces. 565 million ounces of silver traded hands in the electronic form on the COMEX yesterday. It's insane. And the vast majority of those were Virtu Financial trading back and forth for the banks. Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citibank, JP Morgan customers is what they call them now. It's just shell companies, or they have agreements. The idea is control the price of silver for as long as you can. Control the price of gold for as long as you can. Until you can't, then all of a sudden silver has to find fair market value. I think that fair market value is somewhere around 1-to-1 with gold, and I think gold is going to double or triple in value when the COMEX shuts down. None of this can happen when the COMEX is open. The COMEX has to shut down. That's because for every long, there's a short. If you're short silver now, if you have a hedge on silver, or you're a banker and you are short silver, if silver goes 100x, you are going to go bankrupt instantly. Instantly. And who's ultimately responsible for that? The brokerage, the COMEX, the CME. That's why they allow it. It's a self-regulating entity. That's the funniest thing. The COMEX, probably the slimiest investment place in the world, the commodity world, with the guys like Mark Rich and stuff, they're self-regulating. That's the scariest thing in the world. They're self-regulating. The COMEX is a self-regulating entity. And then you have the CFTC, which does nothing, we know. They don't regulate anything. They're an embarrassment. Yes, I'm talking to you four new flunkies. Clearly, you can't figure it out. Silver just traded almost 75% of total mine production in a year in a day to rig the price. Aren't you why aren't the new regulators scratching their head? Hey, how does this work? Why don't you go up to your boss, Rustin Benham, and say, how does this work that way over half of all the silver mined in a year, with the blood, sweat, and tears of people mining and the capital needed and the geology and so much to get silver out of the ground, and you can do it in a day? What is wrong with that picture? And what if I were to tell you 99% of those trades are the same people trading back and forth to each other? When Vinny Viola goes, look out COMEX. Look out U.S. stock market. He's in charge of a lot of the high-frequency trading on the U.S. stock market. His company, Virtu Financial. Look into it. Anyway, lots to discover. Anyway, on the Road to Ruta, by the way, after you go to roadtoruta.com, make sure you put your name and email address in so you can get the free public road updates and the private road updates. At least you can get a link to them. The private road costs money per year. It's $2.99 per year, but you get a gift of a silver coin, a really cool silver coin as well. But right below this Jenny Moonstone discussion of Warren Buffett, where we discover it right at the end of that, there's two videos on the Road to Ruta that explains everything. And I've been working on this working theory since 2007, when the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston published comic books about going back to a gold standard. Yes, the Bank of Boston published comic books about going back to the gold standard and the takedown of the bad guys and the computer market rigging. Go check out these two videos. It'll blow your mind. Especially gold and oldies to the crypto future. Cryptos are our future. Probably 90% of the cryptos you see today will not be around in the future, though. You got to pick the right ones or you're screwed. As the people who invested in Celsius are finding out right now, nobody's going to get their money back, by the way. Nobody's going to get their collateral back. Celsius is going to go bankrupt. It's going to get dragged on for 10 years. Assets frozen. It's ugly. Anyway, there's more liquidation due on Celsius for you crypto lovers. I don't know where these are going to go. Right now, everything keys off Bitcoin. It always has, because of the way these things are traded. Back in the day, there wasn't much money trading hands. It was just Bitcoin, people with Bitcoin trading and buying other cryptos. So everything keys off Bitcoin, the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Tether, Bitcoin XRP, Bitcoin Dogecoin. All that is the way these markets are traded. So just be careful with that. Yes, you do want to have cryptos and you want to have them in your own possession. And you got to ride this shit out and get your lawn chair. And I have the same amount of cryptos that I had before this started. And before that, the last run-up started. I didn't sell on the low last time. I'm not going to sell on the low this time. Cryptos will come back if you pick the right ones and you know where to go. RoadToRuta.com, we talk a lot about Theta. We have a whole page dedicated to buying, storing, and staking Theta. I think that I know Theta is the future of the internet. That's a pretty big deal. The expansion of broadband will be absolutely necessary. And Theta is a software that can be downloaded onto every smart device on the planet at some point. How about every Samsung device? Samsung is a huge investor in Theta. So is Sony. So is Google. I don't know why people don't understand how big Theta is. And Theta has, very importantly, the patents. Yes, there's centralization parts of Theta, absolutely. But remember, they did not ICO. They pulled their ICO at the last second, so Gary Gensler can't go after them. But this type of crypto, you do need centralization. It's more like a tech company, if you ask me, with a crypto component. But yeah, so that's where I'm investing. Could it go down? Absolutely. Could it go to minus $40? Absolutely. Would I sell it? Nope. I know what it's worth. I know what the future of video entertainment, video, everything is worth it. Everything is going from the written word to the spoken word, and the spoken word is recorded on video on the internet. How much do you read articles versus watch videos? The whole world is doing it. Education's moving there. Obviously, the retail market has already moved there with Amazon. All that necessitates high-speed internet for everybody to be fair. And that's what Theta can do on a massive scale. And it's just a software download. Let that swirl around in your mind. You won't be buying the low, I'll tell you that. I don't know what the low is. Could be $1, could be 5 cents, could be 4 cents. Or we can jump to $1 million tomorrow. We can jump to the $2,000 that I think in due time, 5 years. $2,000 from $1 to $2,000. I think we will get there. I think people will understand how important it is and be chasing after it. But in the meantime, we got to go through the collapse of the global monetary system. And that means nobody will have anything that they know a value of. All the exchanges will be closed. So much bigger than just cryptos or just silver or just gold or just the stock market, the bond market, or just even money. This is a change in the way we deal with each other. We're moving from banker control of our lives to taking control of our own lives. And that's why I'm completely against what the SEC is doing and Gary Gensler. They want to move cryptos into their world where they control everything. Let's get rid of the SEC. But Bix, things like Celsius would happen. Absolutely. If you can't figure out it's a Ponzi scheme, you probably shouldn't be investing in the first place. That's what I think. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. There's a lot going on. Oh, by the way, if you haven't read it yet, read Donald Trump's rebuttal to this embarrassing January 6th debacle show trial. Everything he says in this is true. Look it up. Statement by Donald Trump, his rebuttal. You can find it on the internet. Do a Google search. I found this one on Scribed. But it goes through the 21 Mules movie, all the things that happened that got Joe Biden into be the most popular president in the history of humanity. It's just, everything is fake now. Just remember that. Everything is fake. And this show trial, those people belong in jail, by the way. A lot of them are really evil people within Congress, both Democrats and Republicans. So just keep that in mind. All right. And then Joe Biden's going to Saudi Arabia to beg for oil. Saudi's going to say, get the hell out of here. It's going to be an embarrassment for him and his entire administration. And the only reason I can say he's doing it is the good guys are probably forcing him to do it to be the final death knell of this administration. All coming up to a September 11th chaos, in my opinion. I have posted other Jenny Moonstone videos. Go check those out at roadtoruder.com. Really exciting stuff. We're talking a lot about inflation and a lot about the Warren Buffett situation, buying all the physical silver. Because that's news behind the scenes. You're not going to see it anywhere else. Go to roadtoruder.com. Hit subscribe today. And with every subscription, we send you to your front door one silver Ruda coin, the coolest coin ever. Double stamped with a hand-painted heart and certificate of authentication. It's really cool. Check out this video. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you.